welcome back to another episode of Bad Lit Friends, the writing podcast that still barely knows what it's doing. I am your host, Meagan Thompson-Mann, and this is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kirk Rafferty.
And this week we are getting back to our Guilty Until Proven Human miniseries. There was only supposed to be one episode, but wow, there's a lot of stuff going on.
So much to talk about.
Yeah.
We still have, this may be a 3-parter, Meagan. I don't know.
Well, I will say when we have 3-parters, it means I have to think a little bit less about what we have to do the next week. But there have been developments since last week in the world of Pangram, in the world of Daggermouth, which, by the way, is on the bestseller list, the New York Times bestseller list. So H.M. Wolf, round of applause.
Yeah.
Well done. There have been developments in the Jerry Falade story.
Of course.
And there have been more scholarly papers that I have attempted to read. But since they were law papers, I had a slightly better idea what was going on. It's been busy, guys. It's August, normally a dead month, and it's the wild, wild west right now. So, Kirk, how's your writing going?
So it's going well. I just got my developmental edit back for my horror novel, and I am loving this feedback. It has taken some issues that I have known were a problem, but I did not want to acknowledge was a problem. And I thought, this is me being very literary. You wouldn't understand. So every reader who has read this book has told me my first 5 chapters are slow. And I have been resisting that. And I've been coming up with all kinds of reasons in my mind why people just need to get on board with my first 5 chapters being slow.
They're wrong. You're right.
They are wrong, and I am right. But I've come to the conclusion that, yes, I am wrong. Anyway, so this editor, not only did she point out this exact same thing, she also gave me some great suggestions on how to move forward fixing that, and I actually agree with her on this. So not really writing, I guess, but this particular project now can move forward because I have the edit back and I can start doing that. So writing is going great for me. How's yours going?
Wow. Today's been interesting. Well, I'll start with the boring stuff first. Final chapter. I have completely outlined it. I have made sure that I hit all the beats in my outline that strange to do an outline just for a chapter, but I've been kind of writer's blocky about it. So outline for the chapter, making sure that I have all the motifs that I want to bring back that have been throughout the book, themes I'm touching on, all of that stuff. So I have a roadmap. If it's not done this weekend, it'll definitely be done by next weekend. I feel pretty good about it. So yeah. In other news, this morning I got an email that informed me that I am a finalist in the Rocky Mountain Fiction Writers Gold Rush Literary Awards for 2026. I am one of 3 in the literary and mainstream category. So I have a cash award, even if I don't win the whole thing. It's $50. So, please don't hit me up for any cash. I'll probably be spending it at the bar. Actually, I will not be spending it at BarCon because Kirk owes me so many drinks at BarCon.
I know.
I don't have to pay
your
for
drinks
anything.
are free. Yeah.
I'm going to be absolutely loaded. So I get to go to a special reception and do all this stuff. It's pretty cool. So this is for book 1. This is for This Ends Now, which is out being queried again, updated, at least one. Has a recording of the agents that I'm querying to let him know that this has happened. It feels pretty great. This book it's a little weird, and it's an honor to be recognized. Thank you.
It is indeed. It is
Yes.
indeed. Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will say I also entered that same contest. I got Bupkis. So obviously you're the better writer.
No.
Congratulations.
We're in different categories.
Yes.
Different.
Everyone is
categories.
on their own journey.
That's a really nice way to put it. Mine may be easier. I don't know.
I'm just saying, I entered the same contest and I was not a finalist. Well done, Meagan. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm very happy for you.
I'm pretty happy for myself. So I am getting over my usual kind of humility default setting and allowing myself to feel pretty good about it.
Yes,
So
you should. You should.
thank you.
Although I will say, like I say, I didn't place, and so I do think it's a rigged contest.
It probably
But
is.
yeah,
Are
so
you going to call up the Georgia Secretary of State and be like, Brad Raffensperger?
I need a recount.
I just need like whatever it is, like 70,212 votes, just one extra. And like, yeah, I know you can find them. Thanks, Brad. So, today I listened to our last episode that dropped this morning, the day we're recording from start to finish. And wow, we sound a little pissed off. I think we have reason to sound pissed off.
Yeah.
We were so pissed off that, hey, we're back here for round 2. Ding, ding, ding. So let me start off with 2 profound words. Fuck everything.
Yes.
It's been interesting.
Everything sucks.
Everything sucks. I've talked about what is going on with AI detection and the performance of writing with a number of people outside of writing spheres.
Mhm.
And the response that I have had to a person has been, what the hell is going on? So we're angry. You're probably angry. And other people who are not in this strange little bookish, writing-ish space are also angry. So what the hell is going on here? Brief recap. The other week was a crazy-ass week in AI and publishing, starting off with accusations in The Atlantic about Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf, stating that it had information from Pangram, which is an AI detector, AI text detector, that Daggermouth had the hallmarks of a book that was at least 60% AI generated.
Mhm.
The following day, Daggermouth was released, trad-pubbed. It had been indie-pub before. On that same day, Pangram released its new and improved, in serious scare quotes, model, and also announced a massive influx of venture capital on the same day.
Mhm.
Couple of days later, there was a big to-do about a book by a new debut author named Jerry Falade, and that this book that had something like 12 or 14 publishing houses interested in it, in this bidding war. This was supposed to be this amazing book. The agent said, we can't be sure that he didn't use AI and dropped him and that he lost this 7-figure deal. That took place over the couple of days. Everything sucks. And that's kind of where we left it, with us talking about how authors shouldn't have to, put cameras on themselves to prove that they did what they did. I have more on this topic coming up
Yeah.
later.
And
But-
let me just add on the Pangram thing. So let us imagine a publishing world in which no books that have AI in them actually get through to, let's say, the agent level. So from the agent on up, all of the AI books have been filtered out. Do you think that Pangram would still not be detecting AI in books that right? To kind of turn the phrase, turn Voltaire's phrase, if God didn't exist, man would have to invent him. If AI didn't exist, Pangram would have to invent it. Sorry, I'm putting my tinfoil hat on here, but I do.
It looks good on you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very shiny. If there's not a connection between all of these, announcements and Pangram and their venture capital gains, I just would be very surprised.
It's money. It's all money.
Once again, it's capitalism under the mask.
Yeah.
It's not even a mask.
No, they don't even care anymore. I mean, it
Yeah.
was straight up like venture capital, big influx of money. Look, I am still tenuously a capitalist. So you made money. Great. what could you be doing with that money? What could you be doing with your module? You could be working on fine tuning it to actually catch AI work. But what would that involve? It would involve, in my opinion, a certain level of human intervention and human knowledge and human fluency with genre fiction in order to make the module more accurate. We talked in the last episode about how a lot of the books that AI were trained on, not just Pangram, but like Claude,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, were indie books or they were fanfic. So if you're not familiar with what stock tropes, stock phrases, stock situations are, you might say, wow, it just keeps getting repeated again and again and again. It's got to be,
Yeah.
it's got to be generated, because how do these LLMs generate text? It's a prediction machine,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So if you're predicting something that happens in most books, like,
Yeah. If
boom,
there's not enough beds in your story, AI has trained on that trope, and it's likely you'll get dinged on it. Yeah.
they're not going to say, you know what, Chelsea, I'm just going to go to Target and get an inflatable bed. That's not going to happen.
No.
There's only one bed. They're stuck in an elevator. The doors aren't going to open. If you're going to, and this is
This
just
this is
my,
why I can't write romance, because my brain automatically goes to establishing a pea corner.
look, I would eventually get there. It depends on how many cups of coffee I'd had early in the day, how many cans of seltzer.
Yeah.
But if you are going to say, look, we want to make our model as, error free as possible. So what we're going to do is we are going to get area specialists who are going to take their own human knowledge and their own familiarity with genres and subgenres and feed that information into our AI module in order to inform it and be more accurate. Okay, that's kind of cool. It would be cool if you could have some sort of model where humans and robots are working together, with the humans controlling the robots, and you have some sort of android, lowercase a, uh, android model where they're working symbiotically. That's not really what's happening here. It's, as you said in the last episode, a lot of trust me, bro. So you're somebody who is in, the world of IT software
Mm-hmm.
development.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about Silicon Valley types with massive amounts of venture capital at their disposal?
Where to begin? Um,
Mm,
I I so I can tell you that, Silicon Valley was built, and I grant you there's been a lot of cool things, a lot of good things come out of Silicon Valley, but a lot of it is just, how can we fleece our customers in the most profitable way possible, and associate a web address with it.
hmm
That's
hmm
really Silicon Valley.
So it's the break things first kind of
Well, oh
model,
yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So this is my opinion again, because I don't like to get sued. My opinion is that they've broken something and they don't really care. Look, if we're talking about AI stuff, let's talk about Riverside, our former podcast platform. Pretty decent model for a very long time, stable, usable, cool features. Yeah, cool.
Hmm.
Huh. Then one day, without any warning, they force everybody on to this new platform that they say is better, and it has all these new AI features and it's going to make everything super. If you go to the Riverside subreddit, you will see how unsuper everybody thinks it is. They do not respond to requests from people who are having problems unless you ping them, not on the Riverside platform, but through social media. Then you get somebody trying to help you, maybe. They don't care. They know
Hmm.
that people like are
Hmm.
stuck in like year-long contracts. We were lucky enough to be at the end of our contract to be able to walk away.
We were
They don't.
really lucky in that regard.
Holy
Yeah, it
shit.
worked out really well.
Holy shit. We were so lucky. They don't care because for them, it works great. They know how all the super secret tips work. But the things that they broke were the very easy, straightforward things that people liked. They were trying to
Mhm,
make things better, but maybe it was just better for them because nobody else seems to like it.
mhm.
Pangram, they have an actual problem. I will give them this. They have an actual problem that they are trying to solve. Okay. Like AI detection is a noble aim, I think. The problem is that it's not a perfect science yet, and it may never be.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on that. I honestly believe that they don't care whether it detects AI with any kind of accuracy or not. I think that the primary goal with not just Pangram, but any company that purports to detect I think really the business case is convincing people that it works.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It all seems like magic, right? It's all
yeah.
it feels like magic. I don't know about you. I mean, actually I do know about you because you and I were fooling around with AI stuff at the same time together in
Mhm,
Slack, like years ago, before we understood like a
mhm,
lot of what the
mhm.
problems were. I mean, I'm talking about like what 2024, I think, and we were like making it do cool things, like making pictures and writing songs and like, oh wow, this is so cool. We didn't understand what the ethical implications were of this at all at the
Right,
time.
right.
I need to make that super clear.
But we did, I remember though, we absolutely well, first of all, in 2024, AI was real shit at
It was pretty awful.
writing. So, but we did understand, like, we're not using this in our writing.
No, it was to we
But
were
again,
fucking
a lot
around.
of it, yeah, we were just fucking around. But again, it was because, I mean, a lot of it was just because, like, AI writing was just shit, and I think that's part of the fun that we had was some of it was just so off the wall and
It was
bizarre and funny
so
that
bad. It was
I
so bad.
we did not foresee this coming.
No, not at all. And now we have, ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., trained on more and more stolen work.
Mhm,
And so it's getting better. It is ravenously hungry for both, natural resources extracted from the earth and also natural resources extracted from humans.
mhm,
That it is a giant gaping maw that wants to be fed more and more and more. And the more you feed it, the better, the stronger it gets. Um,
mhm.
ouch. Uh, like I don't know what else to say. Well, I got some more to say, but I don't know how you fix it. Except for some of the things that we talked about last week, which is have the courage of the conviction in your own writing, right? So if you know that you didn't use AI and somebody is like, I don't like that, you know what? Screw them. Screw them. We are in a very strange time right now. Everything is murky. But right now, the more consistent that you are in talking about how you don't use it, and the more you push back on being forced to perform in ways that you are uncomfortable with, some people are going to feel absolutely comfortable with showing every step of their creation. Good for them. That's not me. That's okay. We need to work within the boundaries and the parameters that we feel comfortable with, and we should not be made to perform. So,
Yeah, again,
yeah,
I'm not your employee, you don't get to demand, to see my work. You're
no,
not my teacher, I'm not your employee.
no.
Buy my book, don't buy my book, but, you don't get to make these kinds of demands on me.
So I guess I want to talk a little bit more about Jerry Falade and what happened this week, because he is suing his agents now. Yeah,
Mhm, mhm, yes.
I believe it is for breach of contract, and I would not be surprised, having not seen the complaint yet, and I don't even know if he's filed it. He may have just, said he was going to. He may very well have a claim for breach of fiduciary duty because the agent principal relationship is one that carries along with it a fiduciary duty. The agent is supposed to be taking care of the interests of their principal, right? So a lawyer is taking care of their clients. Accountants also have a similar duty. there are any number of relationships. Realtors also have this similar duty.
Mhm.
So you're acting on behalf of your clients, and you're supposed to be making sure that their interests are paramount. So what happened here, right? So when we talked about it last week, Falade, in a nutshell, had this book. He is a Nigerian author who is a PhD student in America currently. Wrote this book that was in a bidding war about a cleaner, somebody who gets rid of dead bodies. It's a thriller. People were cuckoo about it. There were, in addition to the bidding deal from publishers, there was also a lot of interest from Hollywood. So then the agents pulled out and said, we're not 100% sure that he didn't use this by using AI. So Publishers Lunch then ran the manuscript. How did they get this manuscript? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who gave it to them? They ran it through and they were like, oh my God, it's like 99% AI. What the fuck? Okay. Um, super cool.
Which is and that's really hard to believe that a 99% AI book would have made it past an agent, because as good as AI has gotten into fooling people, it ain't that good.
Nah, I fooled AI. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
So like, his agent said that during the submission process, they didn't run the book through an AI detection service because they were concerned, as we are, about software accuracy. Excellent. What happened to you? Who hurt you? And then the deal blew up because somebody else, some third party unknown, ran the book through software, because I guess that's what people do, for fun now.
Mhm.
And the agents, they're called Europa Content. They said they can no longer authenticate how the manuscript fully evolved from origin to completion, which isn't the same as saying we have proof that he used AI. It's just that we can't prove he didn't use AI, which is pushing the burden of proof onto Falade. So Falade said he can document his writing process, and nobody ever had any problem with anything. Um, an editor who missed out on the deal said looked great to me, just a total regular novel with kind of debut novel issues.
Mhm.
And Falade said he used a large language model to do some research, scientific research. He also used it for grammar checking. He used it for Americanization, but absolutely not for drafting content. So we have 3 authors of color. We have Mia Ballard, we have H.M. Wolf, we have Jerry Falade, all debut trad pub novels, splashy deals. Ballard's deal was a little bit smaller. So you have to ask yourself, why is this happening to these people? Who is being asked to prove their innocence here? It's not the authors who have been talking about using AI with most of their throats. White authors, for example, Olga Tokarczuk, I can never say her name right. She is the Nobel Prize winning author of Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. She said that she uses ChatGPT or Claude. I can't remember
Yeah.
which one.
Yeah, that was
And
disappointing.
yeah, very disappointing. And she then backtracked and said, I don't use it to generate text. I use it to bounce ideas off of. This was a blip of a story. It was there and gone again. Anthony Horowitz, he writes the Alex Rider series. He's also a screenwriter. He has said he's used ChatGPT and he uses it all the time, but strictly for research. And I quote, he has absolutely no shame about using it at all. Okay. Katie Prescott has said she is a biographer. She wrote a book called The Curious Case of Mike Lynch, The Improbable Life and Death of a Tech Billionaire. It's about a British tech entrepreneur and the founder of an AI company called Autonomy. And she said she found AI invaluable in writing this bestseller.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our favorite, James motherfucking Frey. Okay, Mr. Problematic. If you don't know about A Million Little Pieces, maybe you want to look it up. But
Yeah. Yeah, he's had a long line of deception even before using AI.
so, yeah.
But I just want to call out on all of these, Meagan. Fortunately, every single one of these people that you just named had their deals pulled, right?
Oh my God, no, they
Yeah.
didn't.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Yeah.
not. Right?
Yeah. How many of how many of them are Black authors?
None of them.
Oh,
Absolutely
yeah.
none of them. I believe they are all white. So, critical race theory is a very hot button topic for a lot of people. And it is a topic for professional legal education. And it's not being taught in kindergartens. And I don't even think in like the commie schools they're teaching it. But one of the things that critical race theory touches upon is that racism is systemic and endemic to society, and it is woven into the way that we conduct our lives in most ways in this country, in America. It limits opportunities for people of color, but especially Black people and Native people as well, quite frankly.
Mhm.
And so people may not even realize that they are being exclusionary or like kind of small d discriminatory. Like you're not actively going out and saying terribly racist things, but the fallout of your conduct has discriminatory effects. So there may be concern about these books that may be correct or not, but why is it that white authors who suffer from none of the structural racism in this country are being are having their deals canceled? Like why are they given the benefit of the doubt when Black authors are just like, you suck. Go
They're not
away.
even being given the benefit of the doubt. Like you said, some of these authors are outright saying, yes, I use AI. Frey even says, I use AI because I want to write the best book possible, which is inexplicably weird to say about AI, but okay. So they're not even, there's no doubt to be given the benefit of. They are outright admitting it and keeping their deals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird.
I will say
Weird.
James Frey, another terrible choice by Oprah. Oprah
Among
has
many terrible choices by Oprah.
Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, James Frey.
Yeah.
Oprah, do better.
Yeah, get your shit together.
Please. I have a note here. This is something I kind of scribbled down. So it's like there's a red line that's being drawn around prose generation that protects a feeling of authenticity more than actual authenticity. So something may feel real without being real, and something can be totally real without feeling real, right?
Mm-hmm.
So someone who used AI to do all of their research, but then wrote every sentence themselves is going to fly through Pangram, theoretically, right?
Theoretically,
But,
yes.
Yeah, but someone who writes human prose that happens to have some sort of pattern matching with AI prose gets like torched, right? So there are any number of reasons why you might write AI like prose from like, hey, dude, get off of my genre, to like there's some argument that certain neurodivergent people write in ways that is a little stiffer. I don't find that that's necessarily true, but if it is, that would be potentially another reason. They feel like AI while still being real, while something that isn't real but feels real would pass. That's not cool. Like really, really not cool. Which kind of brings me to this bigger thought about like what can we actually do about this? Publishers need real AI policies. Like for real, for real, for real. Like yeah, it is not like vibes or we totally asked and they totally said no, like we don't use AI. Like none of this is good. Publishers Lunch asked the Big Five if they had policies in place, and none of them responded. None.
It doesn't
It
surprise me
it it
because I think
it's
it
not good.
matters. They're going to take it on a case by case basis. If they feel like they can make a ton of money from a book, they're not going to care.
No, no. I have this little graphic I put in our outline that I grabbed. Sniffer-esque graphics in the outline.
Ooh.
Ooh. So after the Publishers Lunch thing, Publishers Weekly did an interview with the CEO of HarperCollins, Brian Murray, and talking about AI controversies and what's going on right now and what he thinks could be done. He says that the situation is very murky and that copyright is the foundation of publishing, but that books written with AI could very well be considered uncopyrightable.
Mhm.
And then he said, and this is where things get weird. An AI-assisted book could very well be treated as a book in the public domain, he said, which could set off a series of legal issues. Okay, we got super weird, and I'll tell you why. Because AI-assisted is not a defined term. AI generated is something we all kind of understand what that means. That could be anything from a phrase to a book, right? But we understand what that means. What is AI assisted? We touched on it last week. Could be using pro writing aid. It could be using autocorrect. It could be as simple as, I don't know, like going to the Merriam-Webster thesaurus. I I don't know what it means. It's not a defined term, right? We don't know what counts. Are these the same things? They're not. I think they're not, but I don't know. We can use detection tools, but it should be part of, in my opinion, part of a conversation, right? Between the author and their agent or their editor.
Well, and like he says, it makes the environment murky if you cannot assert 100% copyright on a book. If an author comes out and says, I used ChatGPT to, for my research in this book, then does that mean that every time something, research maybe mentions, some kind of ancient civilization or something? Now, is that all of a sudden, is that sentence or paragraph non-copyrightable? So you've got this copyrighted book with sentences and paragraphs inside of it that are not copyrightable. How
Yeah.
does that even
So there
work?
have been some cases about this. I did do a little research. So there have been cases where there are these hybrid expressions, right? So you have to tease out those AI generated phrases and sentences and paragraphs.
That sounds
Those
expensive.
it's very expensive, but it's still unclear, right? It's still
Yep.
the law surrounding AI generated works is actually pretty clear because it's grounded in an existing legal framework. So there have been cases on this. They're pretty clear. This is for the most part, non-copyrightable works, which of course makes it not attractive to selling to traditional publishers because they can't make money off of it.
Right.
Again, capitalism, but also bad. Yeah. One of the strange things where capitalism and the right thing actually align for once.
Well, except that the Barnes & Noble CEO did say that he would be willing to stock AI books. Now, the CEO of Barnes & Noble isn't interested so much in copyright. He's just interested in blocks of paper to sell to people,
Correct.
right?
So
But,
those are
yeah.
not going to be trad published books, though.
Right.
He's open to it. Great for him. Who knows if we're anybody's gonna. Yeah.
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Allegedly. So
Some people say.
some people. So on Threads, there was a discussion between Kathleen Matthews Schmidt. She's been in the book world, book publishing for 30 years. She's also like the PR, like marketing kind of part of bookishness. She's also a professor, and she got into it this week. This is not hot goss. I'm going to point this out. She got into this week with the guy who is one of the Pangram dudes, and they are not very fond of each other. And basically she kicked it off and said, this is trash. And the joke's on the Atlantic. It shouldn't have used H.M. Wolf's Daggermouth as an example of AI slop. They look silly because Daggermouth is not apparently number one yesterday on the New York Times hardcover fiction. And apparently the founder of Pangram said that Daggermouth should be a public domain work because of the Pangram score. Wow. Okay.
That's a take.
That's a hot take. So the lead author of the study, the Stony Brook professor, came back and said, here is the HarperCollins CEO statement. That's the one I read just earlier. And as proof, right, that it is not, it should be in the public domain. Someone pointed out that a CEO's statement is speculation and not law. Then he came back, the Stony Brook guy said, you should read this essay about the copyrightability of AI-assisted content from copyright scholars. Okay. Oh, again, a link to the Atlantic. Okay. I decided I didn't want to read this Atlantic article because it's behind a paywall, and I just didn't feel like it. Going through a paywall detector, I wanted to go find out what this guy, there are two legal scholars, like real deal, actual law professors. I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. So they have an article that has not yet been published, but it's available on SSRN, and anybody can download it from SSRN. Put a link in the show notes. That's going to be published in the Yale Law Review. And so this is me boiling it down a lot. Okay. Essentially, nobody fucking knows what the law is when it comes to anything about AI-generated work or AI-assisted work, except for that clearly AI-generated work and plagiarism are not copyrightable. Like, that's it. And we're in a situation where AI-assisted copyright law has accidentally created a situation where proving you authored your own work requires excavating your entire creative process, like we talked about last week. And the legal infrastructure is developing in such a way that it's treating, we can't prove that you're human as equivalent to you're not human, which is precisely the logic we have been calling out in the Pangram context, except for it's in a courtroom and not just in a publisher's lunch screenshot. Okay. I have like a lot of notes on this, but I really don't want to bore people anymore. But read the article. It's actually extremely unlike the Stony Brook. Maybe it's just because I'm a lawyer, but I find like a legal article like a lot easier to read. It's pretty easy to parse. What it comes down to is authors and creators need to be ready to show their work. That's what they say. That's the only way. And what is it doing? It is flipping the burden of proof onto the creator. Prove to me that you're not a witch. And the law, as it exists right now, has no way of telling who's a witch and who's not a witch. So guess what? Everybody's a witch. Like I don't have any powers. Maybe I don't, because I don't have a wand. But like I don't have any special powers. But I'm a witch, I guess, because I can't prove it. Why?
Yeah, I can't prove that I'm not. I mean,
what special powers do you have?
It would be cool to be a witch, don't you think?
I think so.
Cool.
It would be, I mean, cavort with the devil. It'd be fun.
Right.
Sounds cool. But this question about disclosure is genuinely really hard. And it's also genuinely really important. And the industry is trying to solve it with panic instead of policy. And this is totally uncool. That is my opinion, but also I believe it is the truth. And my final note to myself on this is fuck you, Pangram, for making me go totally QAnon on all of this shit.
I know. I'm not ever usually this bedecked in tinfoil, and yet, damn you, Pangram.
Well, Coda, because I can't leave us alone. Why is it always the people with the least power who have to prove themselves the most?
Yeah.
Right? It is, I will
Always.
say this. Always. I say this as somebody from a relative position of privilege. It's not just that I'm a lawyer. The fact that I'm a lawyer in the first place comes back to the fact that my parents made certain decisions about my education that opened a number of doors for me that have meant that doors always or regularly open for me in ways that they don't open for other people. I'm very aware of this privilege. It doesn't always work, but it frequently does. So what makes me so special, except for that I'm adorable and intelligent? It's not just that. It's that somebody is given, like, here's a shortcut. Like, we'll trust Meagan because that's her educational background. She's a lawyer. She must know what she's doing. She talks real pretty. But why is it? The only thing we could do is just break the system.
Burn it all down. Burn it.
Boom! I'm so done. Not just because it's Friday night, but I'm so freaking mad, and I am kind of getting like evangelistic about this, and I am talking to lots of people about it because it's interesting how many people that you think would not have an opinion about this actually do have an opinion about it. So if you're listening now, I really encourage you to talk to people in your life who are not writers, are not artists, and ask them what they think about AI generated work and whether or not they think it's fair that the onus should be on the creator, that we're in a situation of guilty until proved innocent.
Mhm,
See if
mhm.
people feel comfortable with that. I think a lot of people won't be. So I think as creators, especially those of us who have been published and those of us who have other kinds of privilege, need to be kind of loud about this and not roll over. Why should we roll over for Pangram? Screw them. Sorry. I didn't even need to say that's an opinion. Just like fucking screw this shit. I'm so done with it. And yet I have a feeling we're going to be talking about Pangram like forever.
Yeah,
Do you want to talk some hot goss?
sadly. Let's do it.
It sucks. Guess what? Hot goss sucks. I was thinking, when
Okay,
I
your
was
day's not gonna get any brighter.
no. I was thinking yesterday when I was like, we need a hot goss topic. I was like, I should find something like really nice, like really sweet, and like something to, kind of like send everybody out on a happy note on a Friday.
Mhm.
Sorry,
No,
that did not.
that's not us. That's not
Sorry,
us, babe.
no puppies this week. So earlier this week, the Threads user Bookish Corvid posted on Threads about a Threads account called Twisted Dreamland. Twisted Dreamland is a Threads account, an Instagram account that the person who's behind it is feeding books, specifically dark romance and sports romance books, into an AI video rendering program. And then she is doing two things. She is posting images that are created out of her work, on Threads, and snippets of video. These
Mhm.
are popular.
And before you go any
Yeah.
further, let's just clarify. These are not her books.
Oh no.
These are books written by indie authors who have not given her permission to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, continue,
Yeah.
please.
No. I mean, there could be some trad pub, but I don't recognize any of the titles. So, but to my eyes, it looked like indie, or mostly indie authors. But what she's also doing is she is putting behind a paywall the entire videos that she is generating from these books. So she is making money off of other people's IP.
Without their permission.
Yes. You had some really great points when we were talking about this
Mhm.
before in After Dark, about the issues that can bring up with third parties, with publishing contracts in particular.
Right, right. Because assuming that she's taking published content now, like you said, you've only recognized like indie titles. If she's taking published titles, she's in a lot of trouble. I mean, she should be in a lot of trouble anyway. But if she's taking published titles, she's in a lot of
Oh,
trouble because authors sign contracts with publishers, and those contracts want particular rights, such as media, like video
Mm-hmm.
media. And so when she's doing that, she's going up against publishers now. She's not just stealing from authors, she's stealing from publishers. And guess what? Publishers got lawyers, unlike your average indie author. Yeah.
I just found a trad pub book.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Uh,
Fantastic.
Alchemized.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. Another 7-figure book deal that was done.
What is she doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
So
he, who knows what they
who
are.
knows? Yeah, yeah. Based on Alchemized by Senlin Yu. So that's not cool. And she straight up says, come to my Patreon. You can watch more there.
This will not end well for
No.
this person.
This is super bad. It's like bad. And I look, the people who are liking it, the people who are paying for it, the people who are consuming it, you are part of the problem. I know what it's like to be sucked into a book world that is so compelling that I want to consume more content like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if that's what some of this is like, I need my fix. I can't have my fix. I'll go and I'll pay this person $5 and then I can watch all of these shitty AI videos and it'll scratch that itch for, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. So, I don't give a shit what you feel about this. It's uncool. You can do all sorts of other things that scratch that itch. Like, you could read some fanfic. You could write some fanfic. You could go read the source material again. You could go on a Goodreads and see what other people who read these books also liked and also read. You could do all sorts of things that don't involve you paying money to a thief. Don't do it. Just because nobody is likely to find out that you're doing it, and that's the reality. Like, I'm not an idiot. Just because nobody is going to find out doesn't make it right. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Sorry. There should be an equivalent for a phrase or term for unk that the youngs use that's for women. It's not auntie. But I am giving like big unk energy when I say that. Like, just don't. It's not cool. Like, think of, your friendly neighborhood writers, and we get paid like almost nothing, most of us. We're not Senlin Yu. We're not H.M. Wolf. We're not making money. We're probably spending money. Let's be real.
Yes. Yes.
Especially indie authors who work so freaking hard. They wear all of the goddamn hats. Indie authors are now like the backbone of our publishing, like not industry, but our publishing economy. We cannot do this without them. Buy indie books, read indie books, recommend indie books.
Just don't steal indie books.
Don't steal indie books, and manifest. And manifest some trad pub deals for Kirk and me, right? So,
yes, please.
Yes. But I would happily go indie, but like let's just meditate on trad pub. So looks like we don't have to do 3 episodes after all.
Nope, we don't. Good job.
Yeah, we did it. So I think unless something super crazy happens between now and next Friday, which it could, because last week was woohoo. I think we're going to talk about soggy middles, which I want to talk about simply because I'm selfish. And I'm about to start editing, and I've started reading book 1, which I really shouldn't do because I need to finish it, and have located some extremely damp sections. So yeah, I don't know how else to put it.
Not that way.
Not that way. The main takeaway this week is everybody sucks again.
Yeah.
Yep. Accusations aren't evidence. Vibes aren't proofs. Pre-parents are not always ready for prime time. And I have a lot of links for you. We had a lot of links in the last one. I'll reproduce them, but I got more. As I said, Meagan does journalism. And Kirk and I have been talking a little bit about the podcast now that we're coming up on our 1 year mark, which actually I think we might hit when we publish this one. And kind of thinking about how we see the podcast going forward. And that's not in terms of we're stopping. Quite the opposite. We have found that we really enjoy talking about these kind of bookish incidents and bookish news
Things that
a lot.
affect writers.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite a lot. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to talk about craft. It doesn't mean we're going to stop having people on. Doesn't mean any of that. But we're kind of feeling like we're hitting our stride after a
Yeah.
year. And when we look back at what we've done so far, we both think that when we're talking about this stuff, we're at our most interesting, most fired up, most ourselves. So we're going to see how it goes, but we are going to talk about soggy middles because I'm selfish on top of things.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, to that end, you can find us online on all the evil socials. We are Bad Lit Friends everywhere. Send us things you want us to talk about. Send us topics. If they're meaty enough, we'll talk about them. It's often easiest to find us on Blue Sky. So if you want to do that, we're shit at email. We totally admit it. But
Yeah.
sorry.
Like really bad.
Like really shit. But if you want to reach out on Blue Sky in Messenger, in like DMs, yeah, cool. Like just send us stuff. So yeah, we're on Blue Sky. We're also on Threads, which against it, brings it.
Hey, you know what? And contacting us through socials actually also tells us that you listen to the podcast, since we're asking you to contact us there, because a lot of what we get through email really is just somebody's publicist out there shotgunning every podcast contact that they can see, and it kind of leaving it up to us to decide if they're the proper guest. And so
Yeah.
we get a lot of email. This is why we're such shit at email, is because we were starting to get a lot of emails where it was just like, this guest really does not fit our podcast.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
if you want a much better shot at actually getting your content on our podcast, or even possibly even joining us on a podcast, reach out to our socials.
Reach out to our socials. You could even have your publicist reach out to us in our socials. It's just easier. It feels a lot more personalized. And look, I admit I'm on Threads all the time now. It does have so much tasty stuff. I also want to say we had comments on YouTube, Kirk. I don't know if you're aware of
I
this.
did not see that.
So yes, one of them was from Laura B, friend of the show, who was super sad that we didn't have a full episode the week before last. And another one that has disappeared that said that we were great. I can't remember your name. Thank you so much for leaving your comment. I'm a bit sad you removed it.
What's up with that anyway? Put it back.
It's so sad. It's not that often that you have two comments on one. You're helping us keep the dream alive. It's okay. I'll try not to take it so seriously. Again, like, subscribe, leave more comments to fill the gap of that comment. Listen to us on Spotify, and tell everybody how much you hate AI-generated content. Every word here that you hear from us is our own stupid human mouths. We can always promise that. Now, our podcast platform does say that it can help provide AI voices, but I don't think I'll be using that. No. But until next time, we will see you then.
Bye.